I have a bad habit, which is very strange. Oftentimes, I feel like I don't have enough time, and because of that, I start rotating my sleep schedule. What does that mean? So, every day, I end up going to sleep later and later, and I wake up later and later. What ends up happening is that I literally rotate my sleep schedule forward until it is normal again. I really like doing this, and I know it's very unhealthy. How can I tell? Well, a lot of hours in this whole process, I feel like a zombie. And while I'm like a zombie, sometimes that almost gives me superpowers. Superpowers to read docs for 5 hours straight. Okay, maybe not straight, but regardless. Yesterday, I spent at least 5 hours literally just reading NeoVim help page documentation. I am literally addicted to learning about NeoVim. Says it's 4 a.m. Can you not make interesting stuff while I'm trying to sleep? Nope, now you gotta watch. I mean, yeah, it's 10 a.m. for me, so kinda early. Matter of fact, I woke up at 6 a.m. today. So, I collected a bunch of stuff to talk about because I found a lot of exciting stuff. And this time it's actually useful. It's not just kinda cool, it's actually also useful. Yeah, actually. That's pretty surprising. So, that's what 5 hours of reading docs gives you, I guess. I'll try to watch it. I doubt I'll manage to crash down onto my pillow though. That's like surprising to me because I never accidentally fall asleep. I've always found it interesting that some people can, like, just fall asleep accidentally because they're so tired. I guess that comes hand in hand with me rotating my schedule and like being able to do that a bit too frequently too. I never accidentally fall asleep. It's always an active decision, like, okay, now I am going to sleep. If I don't make that decision, I will not fall asleep no matter what. So, I actually, this time I got a text. Hi Gangan. I got a text that we'll be able to look at and like fuck around with. In the previous stream, I just kinda had this page, which isn't like that big, and this page where I showed off the different features I was showing off to you. They're usually not that great actually for showing off textual changes, so that's why I got an actual text. So this is the text of one of my favorite tracks of all time, and this is how it's called. I tried looking it up on YouTube, couldn't find it. Tried searching it up on Spotify a long time ago actually, because it got deleted off Spotify, like the best tracks of Necro Trap usually do. The biggest fucking villain of doing this is a guy called Guap Sensei, which is now actually named Craig Scissorhands. Scissorhands. This fucking guy keeps on deleting his best music, and he leaves his like most mid music. It's really fucking annoying. Right, I don't use the desktop app, so I don't have a search here, which I could conveniently use to show you all the tracks that I have saved by him. So I guess I can't show you, but long story short, that motherfucker keeps deleting his best music. So what I end up having to do is, let's go to Muse. I just end up downloading all these deleted from Spotify songs so I can listen to them on my own. And this is the track that I am mentioning here. Can't even find it on YouTube anymore. God knows where to find it, but well, I was able to find it on Genius to get the text. So let's get to actually talking about the features that I discovered. First of all, let's talk about a command called sort. Spotify is indeed a nightmare. That's why I created my own tool to download Spotify. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Although, it might be possible that YouTube DLP, so this, it may actually be able to download off Spotify. I've never tried, but maybe I should. Actually, let's go and try, because, like, you never know. Let's take this track. Let's go, yeah, sure, actually, this place works. So YouTube DLP, output, and this I don't quite remember how to do correctly. Let's just say it should be called 22 and pass the link. I wonder if that will work. Nope. Is known to use DRM protection. Interesting. No clue what that actually means. Okay, so YouTube DLP doesn't actually support Spotify, unfortunately. It would be cool if it was. So the command sort does exactly what you think it does, but it is more powerful than I thought at first. In the past, what I did is call this command, or rather on this range of the entire file, call this shell command called sort, and it believe exists, and it does what you would expect. But there's no need, because there's a built-in command in Vim called sort. First of all, you usually want to sort the entire file. Maybe not usually, but oftentimes. Maybe like you have a file with a bunch of words and you want to sort them alphabetically. So what you might do often is do %sign to mean, oh, sort this entire file. Let's give the range of the entire file to sort the entire file. Turns out you don't need to do that. Sort, by default, works on the entire file if you don't give it a range. So you can just say sort. And matter of fact, you don't have to say sort, you can say sor, and this will be the same exact thing. And to prove it to you, you can see here, this T is in brackets. And when you see this in help pages in New Vim, that means that you don't have to type it in. This is the only like required part. So you can just say sor. So instead of sort with %sign, just say sor, and this will do the same exact thing. Let's try it out. As you can see, it sorted all the lines alphabetically, and all the blank lines start at the start, which we'll come back to actually. Oh, and by the way, the reason why all the blank lines start at the start, well, actually, let me reverse the example. Let's have a line that has a bunch of spaces and do sor. So both blank lines, which I can't explain, but a line that contains spaces is before everything else. No, you need something that uses Liberty Spot to get the Spotify key and decode the DRM for playing. I see. Yeah, the thing is, I can't have an API key for Spotify because I don't have Spotify Premium, which I would like to buy, but unfortunately I am in Russia, so I literally can't pay even if I wanted to, which is really unfortunate. Thankfully enough, because I'm Russia, I don't get ads. So, okay, I guess, and on my phone, I have like a cracked version of Spotify that has almost every premium feature, but still, I know I'm like the Linux YouTuber. I probably support FOSS, like it would make sense for me to do so, and well, yeah, I do. But believe it or not, I actually would prefer to pay for my services. I would like to pay for Spotify. I would like to pay for YouTube Premium, and I used to pay for both of those before the war. So it's like annoying that I can't spend my money, you know? Because I enjoy the feeling of paying for my services and just getting them. It is very straightforward. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to fuck around with revans, to fucking repatch the app, and then have to deal with a bunch of false bullshit, as I would like to call it. A lot of features that, yeah, are good, but they don't feel premium. They feel like tacked on. As I still like enjoy that they exist, of course, but I don't want to have them because they feel kind of cheap, in a sense. Similar thing about Spotify, by the way. The cracked app, it doesn't support downloads. And the argument that is reasonable to make is that you should be able to download the content anyway. But since you can't, like, I'm okay to pay for that feature. Because it's like very straightforward, nice and simple. Those lines are not blank, there's a new line. Good point, actually, and this lets me explain how this works then. So recently I added all the printable characters of ASCII, the first 255, to Anki. Why? Because, let me actually go show you. Note ASCII something. So I decided to memorize the numbers of all the printable ASCII characters, as well as the other way around. Oh, actually no, only a single way. So yeah, basically so that I can look at P and say, oh, it's 112, which is barely useful, but I'm autistic, so that's like the entire explanation for it, I guess. I find this to be incredibly cool to just know all of this. And this explained to me that, oh, hold up, space is the first printable character. Or, yeah, I think it is like the first ASCII printable character. So it comes first. And then capital characters, and then lowercase, although we don't have any lowercase characters in this file. But there would be after capital characters, which is like surprising. And if we add a line that starts with a tilde and resort, it goes last because it's the last printable character. Technically, the last ASCII printable character is delete, but like, I don't think it counts, really. I mean, it counts technically, I suppose, but not in my book. So tilde is effectively last ASCII printable character. So this is why the order of sorting is like this, because it counts by ASCII. Just found that interesting. Spotify don't need my money. UI got worse. Yeah, that's true. UI consistently gets worse and worse. And worst of all, like, I'm okay. Like, it's fine if it just got worse once. But no, it keeps changing, which is really annoying. Local files are a nightmare. That is true. Absolutely. Spotify connects don't work. I wish I would, like, I wish I could disable them. Because oftentimes, I open Spotify on my computer, and then it starts catching my phone automatically, because I was just listening to something on my phone. I don't want it to do that. Like, I want them to be separate. And yet, they continue on being connected, and it's like super annoying. I wish you could like just disable that, like stop trying to sync. Because I don't really use my phone as like a remote ever, so I don't even want that feature. Spotify removes some music forever. Yeah, that really sucks for sure. I had enough, and now we're downloading directly from the server. That actually might be a pretty good solution. But I really enjoy the sync thing of Spotify, the fact that I can have the same exact music on both my laptop and my phone, and it like syncs together. I guess what you could do is make up your own sync solution. But so far, my sync solution for most things that I want to sync is fucking Git and GitHub, which I know is not like the actual good solution. So that means I would have to put in more effort into something that I could instead just pay for, you know? Sometimes my time is worth more than the money that I'm paying or would be paying, which is like 129 rubles, which I don't know how much that is. So 129 rubles, $2. So I could pay $1.45 to solve this problem, or I could pay at least 5 hours. Knowing myself, it would be at least 5 hours. My time is worth more than $1.45 per 5 hours, by the way. So 145 divided by 5. I guess that doesn't work. Interesting. 1.45 divided by 5. Oh, interesting. Oh, it didn't show the notification because do not disturb, of course. So my hour costs more than 29 cents, you know? So yeah, that's why I would rather pay. And also I slowing but currently building my own local files first server for streaming audio. I'll soon pass my project to public on GitHub. That's good. That's very, very good. Of course, yeah. It is ideal if there is an easy-to-use, better, fast solution than a paid solution. But that is often not the case. Like with music, for example. I low-key refuse to use anything else aside from Spotify. I just enjoy it so much. Okay, so we learned that you can just use soar. An extra cool thing about sort is the fact that it has a bunch of different flags. And you can also provide it a pattern, but we'll get to that. So first of all, I gotta point out that you can provide a range to sort. So you can just sort this paragraph, for example. And also, if you want to, you can sort it in reverse. So you noticed how this bracket went to the bottom. If we give exclamation mark to the soar command, oftentimes you can give the exclamation mark to Vim commands to modify their behavior in some sort of fashion. And this is always explained in the help pages. So if you give the exclamation mark, it now sorts in reverse. Interesting, right? But creating a cross-platform Y music player is crazy. It is, yeah. Just the player that plays sound is hard. True, absolutely. Especially with all the different possible features that you may want. And oh my god, the randomization. The randomization of music is a difficult issue. Because usually, random, as in programming random, is fake random. And even if it is true random, it doesn't feel random. Let me try to give you an example of this. Let's use my program twice, which shouldn't have been made because this exists. And I'm like, really sad about this. I made a whole program for something that exists in Unix. Well, at least twice is cross-platform, I guess. So let's provide it a few numbers. Actually, Shuff is even better at this, unfortunately. Because we can provide a range from 1 to 10. And let's repeat that 10 times. YY 9p. There is a way to do this better in Fish Shell, but whatever. Let's count how many different numbers we got here. We repeated this 10 times out of a range of 10 digits. A human instinctively expects to get every single digit in this range, because we did it 10 times out of 10 possible digits, or 10 possible numbers, I guess. But would you look at this? We have, how many 2s do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. We found 2 4 times. It should be 1. We got it 4 times. Nothing else repeats, I believe, but while this is random, maybe even truly random, who knows? I don't know the implementation of Shove. But for a human, it doesn't feel random. This is the issue with Spotify and many other, if not every player. Even if they are truly random, they don't feel random to the humans. So you feel like you end up listening to the same tracks far more often than other tracks. And because of how math works, every time you restart playing some certain playlist, you like reset what tracks can appear. And because of which, yeah, you do indeed end up listening to the same tracks more often than others. But that's simply how math works and randomization works. How the fuck do you solve this issue? Right? Random is fine. Managing a queue of track that play next to the other of over 5,000 tracks can be unstable on some platforms. Yeah, that too. Actually, I also have like a lot of liked tracks. And it's not that I just add anything, really. I am actually very complainy about what I add. Like, I'm very precise and I delete tracks very, very often. So even with a high standard, I have so much music. When you shuffle a playlist with a real random, you don't generate just random number. You pick a randomly track, move it to the queue, and repeat this process until it's empty. Well, yeah, I'm not talking about implementation details, because at the end of the day, you are generating a random number and then using it as an index or whatever. Humor are stupid, unbiased random don't feel random. Yeah, but the thing is that we don't just chalk it up to, haha, humans are stupid. Oh well. No, we have to fix this issue still. Because what I want out of my music player is to get random that feels like random rather than true random. So coming back to sort, there are a few flags which are quite cool. So first of all, you see here how when we sort lines, we get a bunch of blank lines here, because there are this many blank lines in this file. And also some lines repeat, because it's like in the chorus, and so it repeats. So what we can do instead is do sort with the U flag that stands for unique. And this will sort all the lines, but only the first line that appears will be printed. So what you end up getting, oh actually that's pretty interesting. Look at these two lines. They're technically the same, just spelled differently. You can see here that all the lines got sorted and are also unique, which is pretty cool. Spotify tried to make a biased random. Yeah, it's still kinda ass though, which is why I have 50 playlists. I don't think I've ever like explained this properly, but I have about 2 hours until I'm hungry and exhausted, so maybe I'll explain this on a future stream, like why I have 50 playlists and how I sort my music. That stream is going to be like as if I'm fucking Luke Smith. Recently watched a video from him where he was sorting books by their standardized numbers, which I found really cool. I was using Vim for that as well. Truly, like, mwah, I love that. So unique. Then, I wonder how to, what comes first? What should I explain first? Okay, let's explain this first. So you can also provide a flag n to sort by the first decimal number in the line. So this file contains some numbers because they mention guns, as you do in Necrotrap. So let's try this out. What happened here? You saw that not all the lines moved at all. A lot of these lines didn't get even sorted. That is because, oh really, only 3 lines actually had numbers. I kind of expected there would be more. So basically, the sort command in Vim, damn, I guess I should have explained patterns first. Okay, let's explain patterns. So you can sort by a certain pattern. You have to surround it in your separating character, which you might be used to using slashes, but actually you can use any non-character. Like, yeah, any non-character, so any special character, I guess. And I use semicolon for that. So let's sort by your. How does this work? So it searches for your, and then it sorts by what comes after your pattern. Specifically after. So it will sort by space here. Here's another your. It also sorts by space here. Well, basically it will sort by everything that comes after the pattern. Let's try this out. And once again, you can see that not all the lines moved. This is because the sort command with a pattern only sorts the lines that actually match the pattern. So you can see here that all of the lines that match your are at the end of the file, and then they get sorted. So they kind of get separated from all the rest of the lines. So you can use the sort command to first of all find all the lines that match some certain pattern, and then also sort them. And because they're separated out, you can then go ahead and delete them and move them wherever you want, while retaining the rest of the file. So this is in theory very fucking convenient. Like, very, very nice. Make me remember the time I split randomly my mono playlist into 17 parts. Yep. Same exact thing happened to me, but 50. Because only with 50 playlists did my issue get solved. I'm not gonna go into detail what issue and why and so on, because once again, I don't think we have time. So, blammo. We sorted by a pattern. And I told you that it sorts by what comes after the pattern. But with the R flag, it will sort by, it will include the pattern as well. So without the R flag, it sorts by this. With the R flag, it sorts by this. Pretty simple, I think. Because we're searching for a literal string, it doesn't matter at all. Nothing gets changed because it's always going to be it's always going to be the same, so it doesn't change the sorting. But if you search for example, a digit, well, now it may be different. So now it actually may be useful to use the R flag to sort by the number as well. Let's actually do this. As you can see again, not all the lines got moved, but only those that matched that pattern. And you can see here that we get a very similar output to the N flag. Let's go ahead and use it once again. blammo, so now we get the same exact thing. So effectively, the N flag is a shortcut to search by digit with the R flag. Pretty much. There are more. So we can search by first decimal number, or first hexadecimal number, or first octal number, or first binary number. And there are more, I believe. Let's go and look at them. Oh, F for float. And everything else I did indeed mention correctly. So binary, octal. Yeah, so effectively they are just shortcuts for what you can do anyway. Technically you don't have to remember them, because you can just as easily do this, like \O for octal, \B for binary, I believe. I might be wrong on that though. \X for hex. Or maybe not. I don't remember, because I don't ever use like, oh, catch specifically a fucking hex number here. I've never done that, so I don't remember yet. But it's potentially useful. I'm pretty sure there is some sort of pattern group for matching hex numbers. Maybe it's \X, maybe not. I don't remember. So the reason why all lines matched here is because all of these lines contain letters from A to F, I assume, and those count as hex numbers. That's what happened, I believe. Right, so in both sort N and sort with the pattern, not all of the lines move. That is because all the lines that don't match the pattern don't get touched at all. They stay in the same place, which is useful behavior in theory, because you can collect stuff. But I guess I already explained this. We can pass an exclamation mark to reverse our sorting, right? And I don't remember if it does the thing correctly. It does not. I had some sort of way to reverse a file using sort, but I might have been wrong, or maybe I just don't remember how to do that. Okay, well, I don't remember, but at the very least you can sort the file in reverse like this, which is already pretty useful. Oh wait, hold up, I think I might be remembering. Maybe we need to match something that will never match. So let's do Control Q, XD9E, no? Control Q, U, 0D9E. It expects 5? What the fuck? Let's try again, D9E. I guess not. Oh, well, now it works. Cool. So we are going to sort by the Amogus character, which will never appear. It's not in this file. Aha! Here we go. So this is how we can reverse a file using the sort command. What you have to do is search by a pattern that will never match. It doesn't have to be some special character like I did just here. Just feels pretty safe to use that. There are plenty, like numerous other ways to give a pattern that will never match. Yeah. And here you go. And we reversed it back. That's super cool, especially considering that you can do this on some sort of range, like reverse this paragraph. Now let's try to come up with some other thing that won't match. This won't match. An opening brace. So it works just as well without you needing to remember how to enter special characters correctly in Vim. Trying to remember other ways that you could abuse to give a pattern that will never match. And it's actually an interesting thing to solve in itself. Okay. Thinking of what's the best place to show this off in. Okay, yeah, let's go to abbreviations. I have a bunch of abbreviations for git commands. Like, it's an entire fucking section. Let's say I want to immediately look at all the abbreviations that feature git commit. The default way of doing this is let's search for git commit and then use n to go through all of them. But I'm not seeing all of them at the same time. What I'm doing here is just going through all of them one by one, and then I will eventually go through all of them. This is kinda annoying, because what I actually wanted here is to get an overview of all of them. We could actually use the G command for this, which, similar to sort, doesn't have to be provided a range. If you don't provide a range to it, it will automatically assume that the range is the entire file, which I learned just yesterday. So instead of %g, you can just say g. So, using the G command, we search for git commit, and usually the G command expects a vim command to execute on all of the lines that match your pattern. But by default, if you don't specify a command, the default is the print command. Let's first use it. Just print or just p. So p or print will print the current line. Or if you provide a range of lines, it will print all of those lines. Let's try that out as well. So let's provide from this line to 7 lines below, print. As you can see, it did exactly that. So from here to here. Right? Am I looking at this correctly? Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, to the line below that we can't see currently. So this is what print does. It will generally be useless to use interactively, like, I can already see this line, why would I ever do this? And even with the ranges, when you provide a range, you generally already are looking at the lines in that range. But using the G command, if you don't provide a command, it assumes print. So when we press enter right now, we look at all the lines that match git commit. And now I get the behavior that I actually was looking for. I want to look at all the lines that have git commit so I can quickly understand what's happening in all of them. I'm like, I see. So maybe this certain abbreviation that I was looking if I have or not doesn't actually exist. That's interesting. Now I can use that information somehow. But then also, there is a NU number, NU command that does the same exact thing as print, but it also gives you the line number, which is also going to be useful for G. But now you have to actually specify it. NU, and here you go. You get all the lines with their line numbers as well. And similarly, you can also provide a range to NU. So fuck yeah, now you get a way to look at all the lines that match a pattern. Oh, I actually just came up with something interesting. Let's look at all the lines that are longer than 50 characters. Wait, what? Oh, you have to do it like differently. Bigger than 50, this. So here I just looked at all the lines that are bigger than 50 characters. Isn't this fucking cool? Like maybe you're looking at, maybe there are places that are poorly formatted. I should go look at them to maybe format them better. And maybe you'd usually like say, oh, bigger than 80 characters or something. And then you're like, so these lines. Okay, like maybe these lines are actually okay, but this one is not. Okay, 183. Let's go there. 183. Let's go there. Are we there? Oh, I guess, yeah. Oh, interesting. I guess we were here to begin with, because it moved us to the last line that it matched. Interesting. So yeah, blammo. This is often the case with ranges and stuff like that. A command, like for example S, let's change upper to ASDF. We will appear on the last line that we acted on. So this is the behavior. All right. Oh, yeah, this is interesting. Okay, we'll get to that. Let's come back to this file. So I showed in the past stream how to title case a bunch of words. Let's do it again. Let's do S on this line. I selected, but there's actually no need, so forget about it. Let's get a word. I feel like it's lying to me. Yeah, it is. Okay. I thought that it automatically somehow matched the whole word. No, it's just matching character by character. I got confused there, which is why seemingly nothing happens here, but it actually does matter. Okay, so we match a whole word, and the way that I did it in the past is that we do \u and then the whole match, meaning the word. This way we title cased all the words on this line. But let's make up a situation. What if you want to ensure that all the words are title cased but nothing else? Let's try to find a line that actually makes more sense for the example. I think this one is going to be the best, because it has a fully title cased word. Yes, ISIS, that's what Necrotrap is all about. Hell yeah. So let's do the same thing. You notice that, yeah, all the words got title cased, but this word is still... Wait, hold up. Am I going to get, like, banned or fucking... What's the word? Like, copyrighted or whatever else YouTube bullshit for saying ISIS? Fucking probably. Or I'm gonna fucking get killed because I'm in Russia and saying ISIS or something. Okay, I imagine not. So, this word is still capital. It's still caps locked, rather than just being title cased. Now, for what it's worth, you probably want this. Like, if it was caps locked, you probably want it to remain caps locked. But what if you do want to make sure that all the words on this line are like specifically title cased and then they're lowercase? There's an interesting way of doing that. I've shown this off also. You can use \L to lowercase all the words, like everything that comes after \L. And then to stop lowercasing, you use \, either E or capital E. And then what \U does is it uppercases the next character. And this is very interesting because despite us saying, oh, lowercase everything after, \U still works. So it doesn't get overridden by \L, it still works, which is very, very convenient. So this way, we title cased every word, but ensured that everything except the first letter is lowercase. So now ISIS is title cased without being caps locked. You might be looking at this like, okay, this is incorrect. Sure, it's a word technically, but this shouldn't be uppercased. Let's fix this. It's not part of the example actually, but just found that it's probably a good idea to show off how to fix this. So you do 2, blammo. So search for all the words that are 2 characters or bigger. And now it got fixed. Blammo. So I found this interesting. So similarly, we can also do the opposite thing, \L and \U. So everything is uppercased except the first character. I'm laughing because this thing is very, very stupid and useless. But I just appreciate it so much because it's so funny. So let's replace a space. So first of all, so what I'm going to show you right now is useful. What I'm going to show you right after is stupid. So you can actually split a line by replacing some sort of pattern, a space for example, with the enter character, literally. And if you don't know, you can enter characters literally by using Ctrl-Q and then pressing the character, enter. And now I entered the enter character literally. Obviously, if you just pressed enter by itself, you would execute the command and you would remove all spaces. So we need to enter the enter character literally, and we end up splitting the line. However, what we can do is escape the literal enter character, and we end up entering, like, adding the literal enter character here. Why in the living and dying hell is this useful? It is not at all whatsoever. I don't see how you would ever use this. But you can escape the literal enter character to insert it into the line. Here you go. Congratulations. Like, this is not useful, but it's so funny to be able to do this. So here you go, I guess. on the topic of useless fucking things, which are interesting that they exist, there's a sleep command. And it even has a convenient abbreviation, so you don't have to type in the whole sleep. Instead, you can just say SL. And what does it do? It does nothing for n seconds. It does nothing for n seconds. I shit you not. I can do SL for 5 seconds, and when I do KJ, I do not get moved because it does nothing for 5 seconds. And now it does let me do things, so it literally does nothing. I'm not particularly against it existing, but why does it need to have a convenient abbreviation? Why would you ever use this interactively? I'll tell you more. It actually has a fucking mapping to it by default. If you press 5GS, well, for me, GS, I got it remapped because it's in a very useful position, so it does a different thing for me. But for you, by default, 5GS will not let you do anything for 5 seconds. Really, really strange, yeah. But by the way, let's do sleep 60 seconds. Oh no, now I can't do anything for 60 seconds. And now I have to somehow, like, carry the stream without being able to do anything. Well, don't worry, actually you can press Ctrl-C and you will stop the sleep. This is actually the case for many other commands that might be holding you up. You can usually press Ctrl-C in NeoVim as well to stop that. And also Ctrl-C moves you to normal mode, but don't use it because it doesn't trigger the exit insert mode auto events. So don't use it for getting out of insert mode. You should instead be using either escape, or if it's too far away, control left square bracket, I believe. Yeah, you can use that. So, did you know that in insert mode you can press Ctrl-R and then equals, and that will bring up you this input box. What it expects is an expression. So what you can do is do something like 1, 2, 3 plus 3, 4, 6. What? 4, 5, 6. Press enter and it will print you the result of this expression. You can also do this in normal mode, which I didn't know. You do double quote for you, single quote for me, equals, and it also brings up this prompt. You can do the same exact thing, 4, 5, 6, but it doesn't immediately paste it, because what it effectively does now is basically it put the result in a special register, the equals register, and now you get to decide what to do with this. For example, you can press P to paste it. It's basically as if you just used some register, and now it's expecting the operator that you're going to use. That's what's happening here. So yeah, that's why it doesn't immediately paste it or do anything, because it expects an operator. You can use capital P as well, for example. And here you go. So that is already very, very useful, and you can use it in your macros and stuff like that to maybe calculate something automatically. Not sure what example to give you. Let's search for a digit. Wait, hold up. And display line numbers. Okay, let's go to 93. See, actually, like, this is useful. because I didn't have to go through every match to look at it. I could just see all the matches at once. So what we can do, let's first delete this line just to make it convenient, and execute the substitute command on these two lines. So, oh, actually, now I'm going into territory that I shouldn't be going into. Let's use the G command instead. So on all the lines that match a digit on these two lines, we will execute a normal mode command. Let's go to 1. And then yank inside number. This is not built into Vim. What you could do, I guess, is just YE to the end of the word, and this should work. But I'll do this. Yank inside number, then go into evaluate expression, then Control R, which is remapped for me. I know I'm remapping a lot of things here, I'm sorry, but I'm trying to explain what you're supposed to do without remaps as well. So Control R, Control R, the default register. For me, it's also remapped. So we basically just copied the number, went into the evaluate expression, and pasted the number that we just copied. Then we multiply it by 3. And then we press enter to finish our evaluate expression thing. And now we press we could press P, but this will just add the number. So we will replace inside number. And nothing fucking happened. Okay, so my entire idea does not work. Let's try it out interactively here, so we can actually check whether my idea works at all. Okay, so we do this and we multiply it by 3. P. Oh, I see. The issue why nothing worked here is because GR doesn't work, because it's not in our register. Interesting. Okay, so let's just instead of yanking this number, let's delete it, and then we will paste it. Why? Delete inside number. Then this multiplied by 3. It should work. Delete inside number. Fucking magic. I don't get it. Yeah, I genuinely don't get it. Okay, let's try one last thing, and then I'll give up. Let's just say Control R. Maybe my mapping is at fault. So Control R equals then Control R, the default register, multiplied by 3, enter, and now we don't need the P. Aha! Finally! Fucking finally! Whoa! Wow! Yeah! Okay, so let's re-look at what we did here. We match all the lines that have a digit, then we go to 1, like the first one on the line, we change inside number. So we delete it and go into insert mode at that point. Let's go into expression evaluation. Then let's paste what's in our default register, meaning the number. So that number multiplied by 3. Let's press enter to finish our expression evaluation, and here we are. We effectively multiplied all the numbers, or rather all the ones, all the numbers that start with 1. Actually, no, only the first number that starts with 1 on all the lines that have a digit by 3. I'll be flabbergasted if any of you actually use this functionality like interactively on the go. Well, like, as I get used to using this more, I'll probably get more comfortable with it as well, but as of now it feels way too majestic, right? If I have to use that, I simply cry. I mean, yeah, that's like super fair. Well, you also have to remember that I'm making a kind of stretched example. In the real world, I'll probably notice some sort of problem that I can easily solve with expression thingy, and it's probably going to be less ridiculous than what I'm doing here, right? So you better have data right now, please. Okay, it's healthy again. I'm back. The reason for this is really stupid. I have backspace remapped to suspend, basically meaning to make my laptop go to sleep. That is because my actual backspace that I use is remapped to a different place. So sometimes I press backspace by accident and I make my laptop go to sleep. So I should probably remove that mapping, because goddamn, right? So expressions. What even is an expression? An expression is a Vim script expression. So we're just using numbers here, right? Like usual math, which is basically the same in basically every single programming language. It is, like, it like super is, yeah. And this is the first time it bit my ass on stream. So here with math, you don't really need to know what the fucking expression is. You can probably assume that it's going to be the same regardless. Power is not supported, by the way, but I believe this, yeah, even this is not supported. But actually you get more power. You have the power of Vim script expressions, like, that you can use. You can use expand and then expand the current file, but only get the last bit of the file. Blammo. P, here you go. We got the last bit of the file. Or we could do history is, by the way, saved in this expression evaluation mode, so you can just press up, or I would assume Control P. Yeah, you also can use Control P, Control N, and so on. So I guess this works, and I've never even tried. So I guess this works. Oh, interesting. Just realized a bunch of different things that are too personal to really explain. Basically, yeah, you can use arrow keys, up, down, or Control P, Control N to search through this history. You can also do H to get the parent, P, and we got the parent. So you can use Vim script, functions, Vim script, expressions, and so on and so forth. So maybe, for example, let's replace current, and here I kind of have to like show you what I was going to show you here. I'm kind of scared because I don't know this well enough myself either, but when you put backslash equals in the substitute command, in the replacement part, now it expects, instead of a literal string, it expects a Vim script expression. So let's replace current with expand, expand this. Voila! I guess we have to escape this, right? Wait, what? Oh, we have to... See, that's the difference. Now instead of a literal string to replace with, it expects a Vim script expression. So here we used expand to expand the tilde to mean my actual home directory, and then concatenate with a slash. And here's what it did. So this is the power of Vim script expressions. You can basically do anything you can do with Vim script, but on the go. You can execute this over the entire file to do some logic in a expression, and then evaluate it differently depending on God fucking knows what. So this is like super fucking powerful. I wonder if this will work. So let's say we expand this. Okay, so it doesn't work. What if we do this? I guess not. Okay, because usually usually this, the ampersand, means the entire match, what we matched entirely. So this is easier to show interactively. So we search for current. You can see currently all the currents are gone. We use ampersand and now they're back, because basically what we're doing here is match current and replace with the whole match, which is current, or maybe add ASDF. So that's, by the way, how you can add to some sort of match, and you can do ASDF ampersand to do the opposite. Personally, how I would do it is use ZE and then ASDF. Wait, that doesn't work? Oh wait, yes. Yeah, here we go. Basically what I did here is search for current, but only now we start actually grabbing the characters of the match. And because nothing is here, we don't like match anything. We match at the correct place, but we don't match any characters. So we basically replace nothing at the correct position with ASDF. That's how I would do it. It feels a bit like, it makes a bit more sense to me, which I know is strange considering the explanation that I just did to you. But also you can argue that this is like easier and faster even in characters as well. But the thing about this approach is that it's going to be less efficient, I believe. I don't have proof. All right, so this is the power of expressions. And because of learning about this, I actually got interested in Vim script, which is very like embarrassing to reveal, but it's true. I'm kinda interested in Vim script now, learning more about it, because being able to use this power interactively is like really cool. You could say, oh, but actually, why not use Lua? Because God fucking knows how you would use Lua. Vim function expand, so this is the idea of how you would usually use Lua, right? But this doesn't work. You can see it by the syntax highlighting. And also I executed this in the past and it didn't work. How do you switch to Lua in this expression thing? Maybe you just can't at all. See, like this doesn't work. It's like, what? Undefined variable. So while you can, like, you would have to somehow figure out how to use commands, which I guess, yeah, let's try this out. Let's say we, wait, no, that doesn't work as well. Oh yeah, my hands are tied then. I have no clue how to do this, because we can't even use the command Lua here. But with Vim script we can, like, do whatever you want. It's pretty neat. Next thing, I actually forgot about a feature in NeoVim. Believe it or not, crazy. I know, I forgot something out of the billion different small little things in the entirety of NeoVim. Let's go. What the fuck is happening? Let's go there. I forgot about the thing. So, first of all, let's enter something, and now we can access the dot register to paste this thing that we last entered. This I knew. I relearned about it kinda recently, but I've been knowing about it for some bit. But actually, you don't have to do it from normal mode. You can do it from insert mode as well. You can press Ctrl A, and that will enter the last thing that you entered in the previous insert mode, which was enter. SDF, and now I can press SDF. Now, if I press SDF, it will start adding the whole SDF. Now you can probably see where this is going. Be careful with this though, because this will start getting really crazy really quickly, and it will freeze your NeoVim eventually. So yeah, you can press Ctrl A in insert mode to insert the last thing that you inserted in the last insert mode, which is a mouthful. I wish the human body didn't work this way. Because I'm talking so much and talking so expressively and strongly, my body heats up and I'm like too hot right now. It is very annoying and I don't want the human body to work like this. Can I just like disable this, please? It's very annoying. Like, if it wasn't for this, I would usually be able to stream longer, because like it feels annoying to be this hot. Which out of context is like, oh wow, what a problem to have. No. Don't worry, I do not have the problem of being too hot. And I wish to have it. Let's go to the next thing. So Control A. I've been looking for a way. Let's actually go back to our this. I've been looking for a way to quickly transpose words in Vim for a really long time. The way that I've been doing this for some time is delete inside word, add it to kill ring. What the fuck is kill ring, right? I can't show it right now yet because actually I've made a video about this in the past before. So let me actually give you that video, but it's pretty outdated and I'm going to make a plugin for this kill ring that you're going to be able to install, but that's like a future thing. Regardless, I used a special feature that I had to create for this certain situation, which sucks, right? Then I press X, I do E, P to paste the space that I just deleted, right? And then I grab from the kill ring and paste. So this is how I transpose words, which is a whole entire operation that shouldn't be this difficult. From reading the NeoVim docs, it had a certain tip, which I found really nice. So to transpose words, go to the space before the word and do DEEP. This is way easier, right? And in situations where there isn't a space, we'll just add one, DEEP. I guess the issue then is that now there is a space here. But yeah, so it doesn't work for all situations perfectly, yeah, but still, it is usually going to be an easier way to transpose words, and this is really nice. So yeah, remember that, I guess. DEEP. I need to add something to Anki. This in this. I expected to never ever use \= in substitute, but now I'm realizing that it actually can have a lot of power. So I should memorize it. And yes, by the way, I use Anki to memorize a bunch of stuff about NeoVim. Now it works. And we can see all the... I have 302 notes about NeoVim in Anki. That's how I... Like, it's part of the reason why I am so good at NeoVim, because I can have a way to remember all the weird, strange, little small things that may possibly be useful to me at some point in the future. And then, because I have so much knowledge, I can actually combine it because I'm so confident in remembering that knowledge. I don't necessarily recommend doing it like I do, but yeah, I guess like it's been useful to me. Slightly fun fact, you can use Z_E to delete all the folds in the current file. Also figured out folds yesterday. It was a fucking long day, yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, I didn't plan to talk about them because I guess I didn't find anything particularly interesting. Or did I? Hold up, let me try to remember. Wait, is that... Oh, wait, yeah. Well, in that case, okay, folded do. We might have enough time to talk about that as well. But what's the next thing? Deep. There are 3 pretty cool commands here. First of all, let me execute a mapping that doesn't matter. And now let's select this chorus and execute CE. That stands for center, but you only have to type in CE. Before that, actually, let's do 114i. Very specific, I know. I'm doing this, whoops. Oh, that's actually a very good point. Okay, so we have 90 columns here currently. Usually it is 114, but here it's 90. Okay. We can center some lines in a range, center them along, in this case, 90 characters. We have to pass this, because the default is an option that nobody should use. Well, the default is 80 if you don't use that option, which you shouldn't use. Let me actually tell you what the option is. So it's like useful information. The option is text width. You shouldn't use it. If you want to know what it is, go look at the help page for it, but long story short, you shouldn't use it. So the default is 80, which I don't think is a reasonable default. you will usually be looking at more than 80 characters like at a time in terms of columns. So in other words, you basically always have to pass the amount of columns to the center command. Finally, blammo, we just centered these lines along 90 characters, along 90 columns, which is really cool. Then, in basically the same exact way, we can do RI, which stands for right, to right align them by 90 columns. We also can do LE, which will left align these lines by 90 characters. But wait, what the fuck? Huh. That's very interesting. What the fuck happened here? This isn't supposed to work this way. Oh no, actually it is. Sorry, my bad. So the thing about LE, or left, is that it works pretty significantly differently from center and right. So if you just do left, it seemingly does nothing, right? So let's go to a file that actually has indentation and execute left again, or just LE. It unindents all the lines in range, which is potentially useful. What happens if we provide a count to it? In the right and center commands, that count was used as like center or right align along how many columns. In left, it means a completely different thing. In left, it means set the indentation level of these lines with the amount of indent characters of how many. Very long-winded explanation, but let me just show you. I say 2, and now these lines are indented with 2 spaces in this case, but it depends on the option of expand tab, I believe. I have it set to no expand tab, because in Lua I use tabs for indentation instead of spaces. And, well, I use tabs everywhere that I can, everywhere where the formatter doesn't try to bite my ass, which is in most places, unfortunately. But if I do 3, it uses tabs now, because it can, because my tabs are 3 columns wide, which for some reason is a fucking war crime, but I believe it's actually the best, the golden middle between 2 and 4. So yeah, this way I indented all the lines in range with this many thingies. What if I want to indent them 3 levels deep? Well, I would say 9, but what if it's like more? Or what if it's like difficult to calculate? Well, now we can actually use Control R equals sign. We multiply 3 in my case, because my shift width option is 3, and we multiply by how many indent levels do we want? 3. And it enters 9. This is another way of how you can use the evaluate expression thing wherever you want. You can just use it to do some random math somewhere. It's very convenient. And now all of these lines are 3 levels deep indented. So this is how the LE command works, which, yeah, it's like pretty damn different. Yeah. So this, and this. Let's go here and what's a good place to show that example? Here. So let's say you copied something in blockwise mode. Let's say you wanted to copy various and wget, because maybe you want this to paste to somewhere else. Let's yank it. Let's go, for example, here, doesn't really matter, and try to paste it. I want that to be on the next two lines, right? Oh, whoops. What happened here? What ended up happening is that we copied various and wget in blockwise, so they are pasted in blockwise as well. Shut the fuck up, tractor. God damn. This is sometimes what you want. Let me try to show you that sometimes. So, how do I show this? Like, how do I show the situation where it is convenient? Let's move to some other place. Let's say I delete this and then paste it here. See how blockwise delete and paste can be useful, potentially? Just like moved a block to the left. So this is how it can be useful. But not sometimes. So in our example, what we want is to just paste these this blockwise deletion on its own line. Usually you don't have a way of doing this. You can do it like this, but now it still works incorrectly. It's very, very annoying. You can use the put command. The put command takes a register, like maybe put from the register X, but if you don't provide it a register, it just uses the default register. So put, what do we have? Copied on the last line, so after the last line in our range. So if we don't provide a range, it is obviously after the current line. The thing about put is that it can only paste line-wise. So usually a blockwise deletion will be pasted blockwise, but with put we can paste it line-wise. And blammo, this is exactly what we did. We pasted this blockwise deletion line-wise. And this is fucking incredible. It is like very, very, very good. Because I've wanted this kind of behavior many times in the past, but I just didn't have a way of doing it at all. But with put, or once again, interestingly, PU, you don't have to type in the T, you will be able to conquer the earth with this amount of saved time. I can now use blockwise deletions. It's so good. But notice how the spaces that we unfortunately copied as well are included here. That is because when we copy this in blockwise mode, we also copy like virtual characters. This is not the default, by the way. So visual, I hope it's somewhere here. No? Block. Yeah, so you need to set the option virtual edit to block. I heavily recommend this. I do not remember exactly what's the difference from the default and the other options, so if you're interested about it, go read the help page on virtual edit, but long story short, you should be using block. This lets you do some things that you couldn't otherwise do, like for example, oh, let's add something at the end of the line, but smartly. If it was the default, ASDF would appear here, which is far less useful. This is what virtual edit block lets you do. But yeah, also because of virtual edit block, we end up copying the space characters here as well. Without that option, we wouldn't be able to like copy these at all, so it's a good like compromise. But we don't actually have to copy the space characters. If we use, instead of y, if we use zy, well, let's just go and look at it. Where were we? Let's go here, for example. Doesn't really matter. And use pu just like we did before. See, now, like, the spaces are not there because we copied that without spaces, because we use zy instead of y. I'll have to come clean to you though. This is so hyper specific that even I didn't add that to Anki. I think, like, let's go and copy this again, but with spaces. The reason why I think it doesn't matter is because when I press space, trailing white space gets trimmed anyway. So it doesn't matter, I think. I kind of don't care about it. You know? Yeah, let's copy it again, but with spaces. There's another thing though that I want to show to you. Let's try to find it. Actually, let's fucking set fold level to fucking 1. Oh, hold up. Equals 1. Equals 0. Here we go. Trying to find you like a situation where this could be useful. So we copied that blockwise deletion, right? With spaces. So we used y instead of zy. And right now I want to paste it without spaces. You might think, well, goddamn, now you have to go back to this file and recopy it correctly. Not necessarily. You can use zp or I guess you can't. What the fuck? Do I misremember? Hold up. Wait, really? Okay, I thought that I have them remapped and that's why it worked this way. Huh. Why am I wrong? Well, I guess I was wrong. I thought that you could use ZP to paste a blockwise deletion that had spaces without spaces, but I guess that's not the case, or maybe I am like misunderstanding. So I guess let's just use ZY. So ZY actually can be useful potentially. Okay, what? Oh, so we need to use both ZY and ZP. Wow, this shit sucks ass. Why? I thought that what? That's so stupid. Well, we already copied without spaces. Why are you adding spaces? That's really stupid, but I guess, yeah. So this is what I wanted to show you. So sometimes ZY and ZP can be useful, even if trailing white space is automatically cleared for you. In this kind of situation, where I copied some words and I want to paste them like this, where they basically become parts of lines. I have not yet been in a situation where this would be practically useful, but I can potentially see how it can be. However, now we have the issue of, well, actually I do want to space here, but only a single space. Maybe I would solve this with some sort of some sort of S, like, oh, replace fucking God knows what. I guess maybe this. See, I'm not even sure how I would solve the situation. I wonder if this works. So replace the mark of this. No, is not a thing. I guess it's not a thing. Okay, so no fucking way to solve this. Alright, but long story short, you can use ZY and ZP for this kind of hyper-specific functionality that even I, the absolute Neovim lunatic, decided to not remember. Because I doubt it will ever come in handy, but it's interesting. And now, an interesting Lua trick. Let's edit a file here, test.lua. Let's make x be math.py. So it's like 3.14, 15, 9, and something that comes after it. Now let's do this, so x minus x modulo I'll show you what we're doing here. Holy fuck, today I had a dream about this feature where in that dream somebody told me, oh, actually it only works up to 10 characters. I had a fucking dream about this shit. What the fuck? That is so strange. So that probably isn't true. That's... I am flabbergasted at that fact. So let's execute... Actually, I have a thing for this. Oh, because it's not executable, of course. So let's mark it as executable. Test.lua. What do you... What? Fucking user... It is, like, stupidly important to me to do it through my special thingy. So let's... Where is Lua? User bin Lua. User bin Lua. Now this fucking script should work. Here we go. So look at this output. Interesting, right? By using this formula, we take a floating number and we only show up to some amount of characters. So some amount of decimal numbers. So when we modulate it by 0.1, we only show one character. So 0.0.1, oh, hold up, 0.01, 2 characters, then 3, 4, and etc. Continues on. Which is quite interesting. It's pretty damn cool. I was wondering if this is practically useful though. I believe not, because I think you can use string format, and forgive me here, because I don't actually know how formatting works in Lua. Let's do X. Oh yeah, and we print this entire thing. Yeah, so it works exactly like I thought it would. Instead of doing this like mystery math, you can instead just format the float in this kind of syntax, which might also be unfamiliar to you, but it's going to be more familiar than this for sure. Maybe not to you, but to other programmers. So I don't actually recommend using this practically. It's possible that this is faster, but it's not going to be faster where that would matter. You know? It's not going to be a bottleneck. But this is interesting. Should also make snippets for user bin lua. Okay. Let's talk about folds for literally 3.5 seconds. Once again, I'm not gonna be like explaining everything about folds that I now know or am planning to know, because fold. I read through this entire page. It's 619 lines. Didn't find much of anything that is like, holy shit, wow, oh my god, which is most of the content of my streams. It was mostly like pretty understandable and reasonable. Has a few mappings that are like cool to know, but nothing particularly like mind-blowing. If you're interested in folds, I do heavily recommend to read this page, at least most of it, especially when it comes to mappings. But there is something that is potentially really, really powerful that I want to show you. Let's create a manual fold using the ZF operator that expects a motion around which it will create a new fold until the end of the line. Boom, we folded all of those lines. We have something incredible in store. We have a command called fold do open, or just fold do, I believe. Fold do, and now we can pass it a command to execute on all the lines that are not in a closed fold. So this line that says Python and all the lines after it are in a closed fold. These lines are not in a closed fold. So let's execute norm and add ASDF at the end of all the lines that are not in a closed fold. And we did exactly that. If we unfold this, you can see that these lines don't have ASDF. Let's redo this command after unfolding this fold, and you can see that now they do get ASDF at the end of them because they're no longer in a closed fold. Then, alternatively, we can do fold do folducal or for do closed. So folducal, wait, no, fold doc is the minimum width of characters of this command. So fold doc, and also at the end of the line. So what this will do is the opposite. Execute this command on all the lines that are in a closed fold. So on all the lines after and including Python, but not on these lines. Blammo. So this is what it did. And it also expanded the fold because it needed to show you where your cursor is. So if we redo it again, nothing happens because no lines are in a closed fold. Now, I think personally, this is already like really cool, because something that you can do is, let's close this fold and then do fold doc and u. So execute the number command on all the lines that are in a closed fold. So effectively what we're doing here is look at all the folded lines. Interesting, right? But the real power of this command comes from a certain option. I don't remember what it's called, so let's go look at it. Min lines, yeah. The option is called fold. What? I don't care. LSP lines, you should shut the fuck up. So the option is called fold min lines. What? LSP lines, can you shut the fuck up? I think it's because invalid line out of range. What do you mean? Clearly that's not the case. Okay, whatever. So, what? Why are you broken? It shouldn't be my problem. It's very annoying. Oh my god. Okay, so let's... Jesus! Let me actually restart NeoVim. Maybe that will help it. I guess it did. So, this option, fold min lines. And the short version of it is actually fuck my life. Interesting. The default setting for this option is 1. I heavily recommend you to set this option to 0 instead. You can do this with Vim. Opt fold min lines is 0 if you're not using Astro, which is probably most people. It's definitely most people. What am I talking about? Why is that important, you might ask? If you set it to 0, you get to have a very interesting hack, which is insanely powerful. So we have something like G, which is execute a command for all the lines that match a certain pattern. Or we can just execute a command over a certain range, like maybe a selection, maybe the entire file, maybe from this line to 7 lines below, or 5 lines, I guess, below, execute this command. So we have a bunch of stuff like that. But what if you wanted to execute a command for all the sometimes some lines? Right? So maybe you don't have a very precise pattern to search for those lines, and they're not consecutive. So maybe you want to execute a normal command or any other command on all the lines except these lines. How do you express this? Your default approach would probably be, okay, first do execute the command on this and then this. This is very annoying and makes things kind of more difficult. How do you execute a command on all the lines except these ones? Well, folds let you do that. Let's do ZF, and now this is in a closed fold. So we do fold do normal ASDF, whatever command you want to use. Like, it doesn't have to be normal, by the way. So what you effectively did here is forget about folding. What we did just now is execute a command over all the lines except these ones that I marked. Can you imagine the level of power that you get from this? So I mentioned this option, right? That you should set it to 0. Why? Because you can make a fold over a single line now. Even though this is just a single line, it is still a valid fold, thanks to setting this option to 0. So what we're doing here is marking a bunch of lines like, oh, don't touch these, but touch every other line. And now we delete all the folds, and here we go. We just acted on some lines. the opposite of what we just did could be we mark these lines, right? And then only act on these lines that I marked by making them into folds and closing them. Just fucking think about it. And then you can do Z_E to remove those manual folds, but be careful, because if you had other folds, maybe that your LSP provides, those will also be deleted, I believe. So, yeah. That is really powerful, actually. I know, right? Like, holy shit. And this is such a deep cut. I don't believe... Like, I would bet that nobody on YouTube has ever talked about this possibility. I would easily bet like a $20 on this. I'm not just trying to brag, I guess I'm trying to also complain at the same time. Where is content like this on YouTube? Meh! Why am I the only one being this autistic to learn about this really, really cool shit? Like, the absolute best of deep NeoVim or Vim content that I was able to find is like the G command. Or I guess the Control-X mode. The Control-X mode in insert mode that lets you complete a line. You might have not known this, actually. To me, it's now obvious, but it's actually super fucking cool. You can complete entire lines. So you can do like quick, Control-X, Control-F. Boom, you completed an entire line. But that's just like off-the-cuff thing. Where's like this content? Because this is the actual power. Literally decide which lines you want to act upon. Do whatever you fucking want. Fold doc, norm. Actually, you can just do D to delete those lines. Delete all the lines that are in closed fold. Blammo. If any of you know YouTubers, or you are yourself YouTubers that make deep NeoVim content like this, please let me know. Especially considering that most people who make NeoVim content focus on the NeoVim part. So like, oh, LSPs, all the plugins, etc. And not really the Vim power itself. Like stuff like this. I would love to like see more content of this. So I'm looking for other people who make it. I'm like super interested. So to bring this into a more simple idea, use ZF to mark lines that you either want to touch or don't want to touch, and then use fold do or fold doc to execute normal commands over, not only normal commands, to execute any Vim command over those lines. Really fucking powerful. And then maybe possibly use Z_E to delete those folds if you want to. You don't have to, actually. Like, you could just keep them. But they may annoy you if you use folds a lot. Oh, also, actually, alternatively, you can use ZD to delete a fold at the cursor. But then you would have to go through every fold that you've made and delete it manually. You might not want to do that, which is why Z_E exists. Yeah, pretty much. Even if you don't use folds like in a normal fashion. And I would argue that they're not that useful or important. At the very least, just learn these mappings that I just told you about, so you can use the really powerful functionality of folds. And you can literally like ignore everything else if you want to. They're not that important. They're slightly kind of useful, somewhat. Yes, and I say that even though I read this entire help page, so I understand them at this point. I appreciate them. They're kind of nice. Like for example, let's say you want to look at this paragraph while also looking at this paragraph. Okay, bad example. While also looking at this paragraph. How would you do that? Well, okay, you can barely see the bottom paragraph. How would you do this? I would probably do split, and this splits the current file into two, and now I can, and this is actually the more reasonable way of doing this, but maybe you cannot afford to make another window for one reason or another. What you can do now is do, like, select these lines and use ZF. Now it's in a fold, so you can look at both of these paragraphs at the same time. So this is the main idea of why folds can be useful. But aside from that, not like that important. Or you can use Z capital M to fold, to set fold level to 0, and then use Z, I believe, R to increase fold level. So we just set fold level to 1. Let's go back to 0. You can pass a count to ZR to increase the fold level by that count. So now fold level is 2 because we did 2 ZR. So let's go back to ZM, do ZR once, so we can just fold all the things that indent 2 or more. And this makes things a bit easier to go through. I don't need to see all the details of all the functions, but I can see mostly the functions. But this is the most useful probably, because I can now quickly go to, I want to go here, do ZA to unfold it, to toggle the fold. Or you can also do Z capital A to recursively toggle the fold. So if, for example, let's go to normal, because this is going to be a better example. Let's do ZA, and if we scroll around, we will see that a bunch of functions here still are folded. Because I only toggled this fold, the parent fold. I did not toggle these folds. If you want those to be unfolded also, you can use Z capital A, and now they are unfolded. I told you that I wasn't going to go through folding, but I guess it's kind of simple enough where I can just throw shit at you. Because it's useful still. Yeah, so Z capital A. You can also do ZC to specifically only close the fold, so it doesn't toggle, as you can see here. Z capital C to recursively close the fold. ZO to specifically open the fold. Actually, let's do Z capital C. So you can see that you motherfuckers should be closed. Well, I guess not. I guess that doesn't work how I thought it did. So yeah, basically Z capital O also recursively opens folds if they are closed. What else do we have? ZD deletes the current fold. Z capital D deletes the current fold recursively. So it's a very common pattern. You can use right bracket Z to go to the end of the current fold or the end of the next fold. left bracket Z to go to the start of the current fold or the previous one. Anything else that I like might as well mention? Right, there's also a command to create folds. So like this is not useful at this point because we can do this ourselves, like manually, I guess. Wait, no, not because of that. So let's do G, find all the lines that have O, W. What repeats multiple times? Nothing? Let's go to our this. Let's match all the lines that have your and delete them with the delete command. Boom, we deleted them. Alternatively, what we could do is do for fold, and now they're now folded. And all of them will be like single line folds. Once again, thanks to that option that we set to 0. So it's like very, very important if you want to use the power of this functionality fully. And then what we can do is fold do. Actually, let's close all of these folds again with Z capital M. Hold up, let me pull out my snooze. Oh, and by the way, all of these folds look different for me than they probably will for you. I'm using the NeoVim-UFO plugin. It does some things. It is barely important. It kind of makes them look a bit nicer. That's about it. It's not like very important. I can almost recommend to ignore it. If you use Astro, this plugin is used automatically and you don't have to set anything up. If you don't use Astro, you might have to configure it if you even care. I don't necessarily recommend caring. I don't think it's that important. So on all the closed lines, or rather on all the closed lines, do the delete command, blammo. So effectively what we just did is the same exact thing as doing G, your D. But we did it with using folds. Anything else? There's ZV that will open just enough folds to make your cursor visible. This is important when you're searching for something and that result is in a fold. That is when it's going to be useful. ZX and Z capital X I do not care about. Maybe you will, but it's hyper specific. ZR increases our fold level, ZM decreases it. Z capital R does the opposite of Z capital M. So let's go back here. So we did Z capital M. This sets fold level to 0. Z capital R sets fold level to the maximum fold, which ends up opening all folds. I found that kind of stupid. I thought that, like, it sets fold level to the maximum fold. What that means is that once you go to a different file that has folds with bigger nesting, those will still be folded, which I found kind of annoying, which is why I made this remap that makes Z capital R set fold level to 99. So now Z capital R means, like, actually unfold every possible fold. What else do we have here? We also have commands to open and close folds and arrange. These two either close or open all folds without changing fold level, which is potentially useful. However, you can just use ZI. So let's say I set fold level to 2. Now fold level is 2 because I did ZR twice. I can now do ZI to basically remove the functionality of folds. That is what the fold enable option does. And now ZI brings back the functionality of folds, refolding those folds that need to be folded. It's a mouthful. To like understand this fully and build this into your like understanding, I do still recommend reading this page. I will kind of explain how this all works together. A quick explanation I'm doing right now might not like be understood as easily, so that's why I still recommend to read about it. Right, there's also ZJ and ZK that can go you to the previous or next fold. So ZK goes to the end of the previous fold and ZJ goes to the start of the next fold, which can be very, very useful for moving around, for example. Right, like maybe I am here, I'm like, okay, let's go to the next thing, blammo. Didn't need to search, didn't need to use any text objects or anything else. And that should be the end of it, more or less. Also explains the options, how they work, what they do. It explains all the different strategies that can be used for folding. Those I didn't even read. I used the manual folding strategy, should be somewhere here. Yeah, fold method I have set to manual. There are other methods, I don't know, like I don't fully understand how they work because I don't care. I think manual is just good enough, but maybe there's more hidden power in those other methods that I don't know. Possible, possible. Yeah, god damn, this is like a packed stream. Do you recommend Astro for a newbie or should I stick with Kickstart NeoVim? I absolutely recommend Astro for a newbie. So, well, let me put it this way. Do you enjoy banging your head against the wall? When you walk across the street and somebody approaches you with a metal, that to happen? If your answer is yes, do Kickstart NeoVim or like do your NeoVim configuration yourself. I have done that and I have bashed my head against the wall. I even cried because this shit is so fucking obscenely difficult. Like, god damn, I want to hit every person who, like, with a smile on their face recommends like your usual VS Code user that doesn't have any Vim experience to just switch to NeoVim. I want to hit those people because that is very cruel. Astro NeoVim makes it pretty significantly easier. To elaborate on Astro, basically the trade-offs that you make by using it, the most difficult and annoying shit gets dealt for you. But in return, you have to learn a bit more about how stuff works to configure the easier stuff. So there still will be like a lot of head bashing, but it's not going to be as obscene as trying to figure out how to configure LSPs on your own without Astro, effectively. So I do recommend it for a newbie. But then, if you first configure your NeoVim yourself and then switch to Astro, that is also very good. So basically, even if you already have your configuration, I do still recommend you to switch to Astro. And you might understand things better thanks to this experience of bashing your head against the wall. So no matter if you're a newbie or already have a configuration, I recommend Astro regardless. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing my own config first, then switching to Astro. If you want to bash your head against the wall, go ahead. But I do recommend like going into Astro immediately. It's not that necessarily it's a mistake to do your config first and then Astro. I just think it's going to be like mentally difficult, somewhat unnecessarily. I don't think the experience that you will gain is worth it, you know? So I've made a stream where I talk all about Astro. I recommend checking it out. There I go into more depth about like everything, about the switching process, about how to do like most things. And also there I explain like methods of configuration that nobody explains for some reason, and everybody thinks that it's explained in the docs. Spoiler, it kinda is, but not well enough in my opinion. So thanks to the content of that stream that I sent the link to, you'll be able to get started with Astro easier than most other people. Unless you're like super smart and somehow understood everything better than I did. And I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I think I configure like so much that if something is difficult for me, you should probably trust that it's like ridiculous, you know? You're welcome. Okay, but for today, I am done. Talked about a bunch of stuff. How long have we been streaming for? 2 hours. Yeah. Quite happy with this. So if you ever like know a person who wants some really in-depth NeoVim content, I feel pretty proud to say that this stream is going to be a really good one to send them, because this is like in-depth and actually useful too. So thanks for watching, and